Thank you for joining us this afternoon. I'm Bobby Fallett. We are dealing with some dangerously cold temperatures and wind chills to start off the work week. Frostbite could set in on exposed skin in about 5 minutes or less. Let's get right on over to meteorologist Lisa Green for the very latest. Lisa.
Well, good afternoon. Yes, we are dealing with some intense wind chills and lows that we experienced this morning, and this carries on into the afternoon, not just for today, but for Tuesday as well. So we have first alert weather days for 2 days in a row of dangerous cold. Currently under an extreme cold warning throughout the valley and beyond. This cold spreads well outside of our region, but we are definitely in the heart of it right now. We're looking at wind chills that are still in the 30s and 40s below as you're stepping outside right now. Langdon's at 41 below. Our wind chill in Fargo at 34 below zero. So again, we're still needing to layer up and bundle up. Even though the sun is out and we're trying to warm up a little bit, it's going to be cold on this President's Day. If you have the day off, maybe you were hoping to do some shopping for President's Day sales, well, you're going to need to bundle up. We're looking at a high of only 7 below for today in Fargo. And again, those wind chills remaining low even during the warmest hours of the day. When I come back, we're going to get into the next cold night for tonight and also talk about when we'll get some relief. And we do have some on the way coming up in just a couple of minutes.
All right, Lisa, thank you so much. Now, much of the country is dealing with harsh weather and more is expected as we deal with brutal temperatures here. The south saw snow, winds, and flash flooding over the weekend. As Karen Wild reports, at least 11 people were killed in Kentucky, which is now under a disaster declaration.
Kentucky is bracing for more flooding after torrential rain created dangerous flash flooding over the weekend.
If I survive this, I'm going to find me a nice little home to move to. Getting too old for this.
Among those killed in Kentucky, a mother and her 7-year-old daughter.
We are still in the search and rescue mode. We're working as hard as we can to save as many lives as we can.
On top of the flooding, parts of the state got hit with snow and more storms are expected this week. Here in Bowling Green, I'm standing in a flooded walkway and several structures in this park are underwater, including that information sign right there that's half submerged. Typically in this area, we see about 4 inches of rain for the entire month of February, but it saw nearly double that, 8 inches in the past 2 days alone. Flooding was also a problem from West Virginia to Tennessee. In Hale County, Alabama, the National Weather Service confirmed a tornado touchdown, ripping homes apart.
It's a blessing that we survived.
Winter weather caused headaches in the Midwest as well. In Chicago, a woman was taken to the hospital after her car plunged into icy Lake Michigan. Snow also caused treacherous driving in the east, flipping this car in Massachusetts. But in Maine, they welcome the snow.
This is great. This is what living in Maine is about.
For winter lovers, fresh snow is something to celebrate. Karen Waugh, CBS News, Bowling Green, Kentucky.
And parts of Kentucky are expecting another weather system in the coming days. The governor said that the main concerns are strong wind gusts of wind, which could help uproot trees in loose, waterlogged soil. Well, new for you at noon, crews are battling an apartment fire in Wadena, Minnesota. Area fire departments, they've been on scene since last late night. The apartment complex is near Bryant Avenue and 2nd Street Southeast. Officials, they are asking people to avoid that area. The Wadena County Human Services Department opened up at 8:30 this morning to help anyone that is impacted by that fire. Several fire departments, they responded to a barn on fire in rural Winger, Minnesota this morning. The Polk County Sheriff's Office got the call around 8:30. When deputies arrived on scene, the barn was smoldering. They said the livestock were evacuated. No injuries were reported. The Minnesota State Fire Marshal says that it appears that the hay caught fire in the loft. Also new for you at noon, the Minnesota State Patrol is reporting injuries after a crash between an SUV and a semi in Otter Tail County. This happened on I-94 near a mile marker 60, that's southeast of Fergus Falls. Troopers say that the semi and SUV, they were both going east when they crashed around 7. A 38-year-old man from Fargo and 4 children were in the SUV. The kids are 14, 13, 8, and 6 years old. No word on the extent of injuries, but more information is expected to be released this afternoon. One man is dead after driving his snowmobile into a fish house in Becker County this weekend. The sheriff's office received the report just before 9:30 Saturday night. They say when emergency responders got on scene, they found 39-year-old Benjamin Hellerman not breathing. They tried life-saving measures, but he was pronounced dead a short time later. Deputies say that two snowmobiles were traveling across the inlet lake when the second snowmobiler noticed Hellerman was no longer behind him. The second snowmobiler went back and discovered that he drove into a fish house. Now, this was the second deadly snowmobile crash over the weekend. The other one happened on Friday in rural Walker, Minnesota. Well, today, people in West Fargo will decide on the school district's latest bond referendum and whether or not to authorize up to $162.7 million in projects that would address growth and future planning needs for the district. The first question includes nearly $100 million in projects the district says are needed in the next 1 to 5 years, like completing Heritage Middle School and Horace High School. Question 2 looks at needs they say are 6 to 10 years out. Question 3 is collaborating on a new ice rink. The passage of each question is contingent on the questions before it passing. You can find more information on the referendum and a list of polling locations on our website, valleynewslive.com. Just click on this story. Well, people are gathering in downtown Fargo right now for a President's Day protest. The 50-51 movement launched after President Donald Trump took office and aims to organize 50 protests in 50 states in one day. This is a video of a similar protest that happened on February 5th. In Fargo, people are heading to the federal building right now at noon. Today's protest theme is Not My President's Day. The group says that they oppose Trump's policies. They argue undermining democracy and civil rights, including Project 2025, a framework backed by some of Trump's allies to overhaul the federal government. Now, the Trump administration is pushing forward to try and broker a peace deal in Ukraine and save a ceasefire deal in Gaza. Secretary of State Marco Rubio arrived in Saudi Arabia today ahead of scheduled talks for tomorrow between the Trump administration officials and a Russian delegation about ending the war in Ukraine. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky said that Ukraine was not invited to the talks and any deal made without them will not be recognized. Changing gears, Pope Francis remains in a Rome hospital today and has been diagnosed with what's being called a complex respiratory tract infection. The 88-year-old pontiff was admitted to the hospital Friday and was listed in fair condition following a week-long bout of bronchitis. No time frame was given concerning the length of his hospital stay. Well, the U.S. Attorney for North Dakota, Max Schneider, announced his resignation over the weekend. Schneider was nominated by former President Joe Biden in September of 2022. Schneider's statement said in part that he is, quote, grateful to the point of near disbelief to do such meaningful work with such incredible people. I'll be cheering on my successors and former colleagues in the months and years to come, end quote. Now, North Dakota's U.S. senators, they recommended District Judge Nicholas Chase to serve as North Dakota U.S. Attorney under President Trump. Well, coming up on your news at noon, we'll introduce you to a man on a recycling mission to use batteries from vapes for good to help the environment. But next, meteorologist Lisa Green has your weather to help you plan your first alert weather day.